Welcome to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. We're here every Saturday to highlight local entrepreneurs and small business owners and to learn how they succeed to build their businesses from the ground up, what are their challenges and what are their victories. And if you want to call Jeanette, she's got one heck of a story, 209-667-2222. Jeanette, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great.
I know. Do you like that little segue right there?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, yeah, that was really good.
Thank you.
I have all kinds of stories.
Yeah, you do. So today's show, we're going to kind of recap last week's show with Stephanie Montalvo because it just, that was a show that we just kind of created a lot of conversation. And
I know it created a conversation out there. You know, if I was listening to that show, whether I was a business owner and, you know, with my personality type that was revealed as a business owner, you think you know everything. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes when you are a dominant personality, you end up, let's say, blaming the staff that you hired for what they can't do, but they're a different personality. And then we ended up getting into also relationships. And that's the whole thing with, I think, the kind of test that she did is, first off, there's no bad personalities. Maybe just not. You don't hire an accountant to do sales. And if you have someone that really likes to dot the I's and cross the T's and just leave me alone in the zone, that's the person you want as your accountant.
Yeah.
Same thing. You don't hire, let's have fun. Let's just do this. Oh, it doesn't matter if it's correct or not. We got it close enough. Because then you've never had an IRS audit. There's no such thing as close enough. So you have to put the right person in the right position. And businesses these days change. I think COVID changed a lot of things.
Yeah,
we had
I agree.
to change how we ran our businesses, and we stopped meeting with people in person. And what I just absolutely hated was the uptick of Zoom. Everything is a Zoom meeting these days.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm personally, I like to feel the energy of the person. I don't think you can feel the energy, especially, you know, I just hired and a new employee started last week, and I did the personality test on her, and the big reveal, you know, we didn't have cannons that were pink or blue or whatever. What would it be for sales? I guess green.
green,
right?
yeah, it'd be green,
I
definitely.
found out that I have like the perfect combination of a top salesperson. But just because someone has that personality, you still have to do the training. So we are involved in the training of my team. And that's the whole thing as a business owner. I want to get back into working on the business, not working in the business with daily tasks. I'm much better at being able to oversee everything, have a manager that runs the daily operations, and then I need that team. It takes a whole team. And all the segues between commercial breaks, so to say, the discussions were incredible. So I know this is something that means a lot to everybody.
Yeah.
Even Kirk mentioned that he plays a game that has to do with strategic and war. And he says, you can't just send all of your archers out there because they're going to be trampled to death by the horses coming across, right? So you have to have that perfect combination. And we also went into, of course, personalities when it comes to dating and relationships. And I know Kirk's going to probably show some of those, you know, some of those videos
I
might
can't
be
wait for
available.
Kurt told me that when he plays the strategic games that he thinks about me and the strong leader I am. and usually he wins once, you know, he finds that character like myself.
Oh, yeah. I think that's great, but I'd kill you in chess.
That's true. I don't think I've ever won a game of chess, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And I like playing it, but you got to really think three moves ahead.
No, you got to think 4 to 5 moves ahead, with every contingent move. But being European, I played chess from the time I was a little child.
Yeah.
And we have so many different chess sets at my house. And
wow.
I taught my kids how to play chess. I think it teaches them how to strategically think of what could happen. And I think people do it every single day. And if they're in business especially, with the kind of person I am, I take risks. But I'm not just out there taking risks just to take a risk. They are strategic risks. I say, if I do this, I know that, this might be the risk. And you have to be able to say, what risk am I willing to take?
Yeah.
And I've taken some big risks. I mean, just starting a business,
That's a huge risk, yeah.
I've taken a big risk. Other people, I've also seen people during, let's say, COVID or after COVID or everything that's going on with the economy, other business owners, they weren't willing to take the risk any longer. And they shut down. It's like, no, I'm selling. I'm cutting bait.
I got a question for you really quick. Let me reset. You're listening to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duggan, Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. Today we are going to talk about finding the right leader and hiring the right team a little bit. But I got to title it though because I got to put something in the title. I just can't put. I went to I think it's back in 2021 when I went to the Grant Cardone sales and marketing.
Now there's a salesperson.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah.
And the thing is, growing up with my father was self-employed. And I mean, we went from feast to famine continuously growing up. One day we were traveling with personal nannies and chefs. The other minute we were in a foreclosed home with keeping the milk in the garage because we didn't have a refrigerator. And so, because when my father, being self-employed and having companies all over, he would risk the entire family home on the next big deal or the next, financing. And all it takes is one giant deal like that falling through and you lose it all. And you will see that in a lot of cases, those that have made themselves self-made people, they've lost it all several times. The difference, I mean, everyone's probably heard this, the difference is not that we fail and we fall down. The difference is the one that then picks themselves back up.
Yeah, keep on going.
And, even myself, when I opened up the business, I sat in the dark with my children who were young, and I told them we were camping because the PG&E was shut off. I had my Charger that I still have repossessed. But the thing is, I told them as long as we keep our house, and I built that business. It was 1.1 million when I, bought my book, and now we're heading towards $8 million 7 years later, with a whole year and a half of not being able to run any business in California. But a lot of other people, they quit, and maybe it's because, I don't want to start over again. And so I'm sticking it out. I lost $1 million last year out of my book of business. But that's why I also hired a salesperson.
Yeah.
And after a year and a half, we were talking about that, a year and a half of having customer service and this great team and kumbaya, and they all love each other. And they're so great with my customers that I won, best insurance in 2009. And we have our beautiful award sitting proudly. But now all of a sudden we have to get back into sales mode.
Yeah.
And it was thrilling to find out that I have a salesperson.
So you said you were camping when the lights were out. So I like playing Little House on the Prairie. I'd walk around with candles, I'd be, the Michael Landon character. And
candles are dangerous. No.
Yeah, that's how.
See, there's risk, and then there's risk with little children.
Yeah. No, I was just joking, but
Cardone. You were talking about Cardone. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Let's hear about the Cardone story.
So really quick, Cardone was talking about rejections. He said that the rejections, the ones you'll typically get, are the ones that you give yourself. So if you're telling people like, well, no, I don't have the money to do that right now, when you're out there trying to sell something, you'll get the same kind of reaction back.
And I think that's very important in sales. And I try to train my staff on that. Is you cannot put your nose on other people because you don't know. And I mean, I think this is something that's very important. Is somebody came up when I was doing Cookie Lee sales, and I have 7 children, like most of you know, and they were all newborn to age 9, right? So one just about every single year. But she'd come and she goes, I can't just really do this because I have 3 kids. And the woman standing next to me looked at her with this stare and says, you are talking to the wrong person. Our own limitations.
Yeah.
You can ruin the sale on that.
Let's get into that next segment.
Okay, great.
All right, so when we come back, we're going to talk about more, maybe projecting limitations. But you're listening to the Small Business Voice on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and on the iHeart Radio app. Stay with us.
Hey girl, what's your name, girl? I've been looking at you and every guy here's doing the same, girl. Right now I really need a
Welcome back to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duggan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. Reach out to us for more information about our featured guests by texting 209-896-6500, or you can always email us at info@smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. And you can pull up any of our past shows on the iHeartRadio app. Just search and follow the Small Business Voice. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube. And my wonderful guest host is a fellow small business owner, Jeanette Forney. She owns the Jeanette Forney's All Estate Agency, and her phone number is 209-667-2222. So
we talked about Cardone. And
Cardone, yes.
Yeah.
So, and then we're talking about rejections and how you kind of place your rejections. You know, the other thing I was thinking of, too, is I read a book. It was called Go for No.
Oh, I've done those trainings in my office.
Yeah. The interesting thing about that was one of the stories at the beginning was this salesman is... So this man comes in and he goes, hey, I just need to buy all this stuff like suits, shoes, ties, everything. And he sold about $3,000 worth of things, and he was proud of himself. And he went to his manager with his chest out and talking about how great he was and
how much he sold. And the sales manager said, how do you know he was done shopping?
Exactly.
And the salesman, he put the limitations on himself that he said, this is enough.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the guy might have had $10,000, and now when he was basically pushed out of the store, he went to another store and bought the other $7,000 worth of. And this is something we see in the business all the time. People are putting their own limitations on what they think. And I hear this all the time. Uh-huh. And that's the whole thing. Sometimes staff members aren't the wealthiest in the world. And then they'll say, oh, gosh, this premium is so expensive. Because you know what? To them, it's so expensive. And then, I've been there. I've been there where I have been poor.
Yeah.
And everyone that is self-employed, I worked 3 years where my staff made more money than I took home. Mm-hmm. I went 2 months sometimes without even any pay whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you work really, really hard and to get yourself to that point. Now I am luckily at that point that when I'm looking at my 18-year-old that's about to get his driver's license, and I joke, it's like having a Ferrari in my driveway because the premium is going to be very high. But the premium is based on the risk. There's going to be an 18-year-old in a brand new pickup truck. Pickup trucks can do a lot of damage out there.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have him in that pickup truck not to do damage to him. But I hear it all the time. I see it all the time. People are placing their own insecurities or what they think is too much. While the person sitting in front of them, we don't know what other quotes they got. It might not be too much. They might say, oh, wow, that's the best price we've ever gotten. And so the thing is, when you sell on price and the person buys on price, then they're going to leave because of price. They're going to go for the next one where they can make the deal on price. And that same person is not going to buy the $5 T-shirt that's made from the same material as the $150 T-shirt where they can walk around looking like the billboard for the latest designer advertising their goods. It's still a T-shirt. So people obviously are willing to pay a premium price for the same T-shirt, but one has a logo on it that's all bougie. So, that's the whole thing. Sometimes I find it's not that the people don't have the money. It's what their priorities are of what they want to spend their money on.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we need insurance because by law.
Yes.
And when my husband would let his commercial insurance lapse on his truck, I said, no, you have commercial insurance. You are driving with our home, our kids' future, college money, the PG&E bill. You're driving with all of it on your bumper.
Yeah.
But these days you find, especially young people, they don't want to pay for the insurance. And the insurance might just be $150 a month. They're paying more for their brand new iPhone. And that iPhone, well, they're going to get rid of it in a year or two to get the new brand new iPhone that they're going to pay for. So a lot of times out in sales out there, and I find this all the time, I'll find that my staff, they're so great. And they know that because they're hurting, let's say, for money. We're all hurting for money right now. Yeah. And so they're going like, it's so expensive. And then they'll go like, they're trying to do everything to lower the bill for the customer, only to have the customer say, Okay, great. Let's go with that. I have to go because we're going to Costco.
Well,
and then
yeah.
immediately I'm going, Costco? No one gets out of Costco without $300 being spent, right?
Well, it's priorities.
So obviously
yeah.
they had the money to pay their $200 a month auto insurance bill. And
Yeah.
because, I mean, so expensive, the home
spend
and the auto.
As far as insurance goes, you get what you pay for. So if you're buying cheap insurance, just because you got like the cheapest price doesn't mean it's the best insurance. And getting back to what you said about people are going to spend their money like they have a certain amount of money. Well, people can't go without Starbucks. They can't go. When I say people, I'm talking about myself too, because like I'm in the fast food drive-thrus quite a bit, and I'm trying to break those habits. But I decided to spend my money there where I could.
Yeah, you choose where
yeah.
what you think is where you want to spend your money.
Yeah,
and.
But insurance is one I don't skimp on, like because it's a matter of just pennies. It seems like to have the full coverage, to where if something does happen, I don't have to worry about it. I'm a lot more happier. And
if nothing happens, good for you.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. I know home insurance is impossible to get in California these days.
So you're listening to Small Business Voice with Justin Duggan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. Reach out to us for more information about one of our featured guests by texting 209-896-6500, or you can always email us at info@smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. And my lovely co-host Jeanette is here with me. You can reach her at 209-667-2222 or email her at JeanetteForney@allstate.com. Just going over rejections really quick. So when a lot of people are afraid of the rejection to where they won't even ask the question.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Because they've made up their mind that, I would never say yes to this, or I would never buy this, or like, when I was, with the whole thing with the kids, I would never have time to do this because I have children.
Yeah.
And when you look at just like the 10 habits, I mean, I would have everybody go on YouTube, 10 habits of successful people.
Yeah.
And then when you look at that, I mean, why reinvent the wheel? And successful people get up early in the morning. They take that half hour of time for working out, or maybe meditation, or preparing for the day. And I don't know how many times I hear people saying, I just don't have time to work out. Get up earlier.
Yeah.
And it's like, we just don't have the money. And then I would say, let me see your last Costco receipt. There, look, there you have the money.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, again, with this whole thing of what people place on themselves, and with business, we have to make decisions all the time. And that's something we have to have those conversations with staff. Otherwise, as a business owner, you're going to be frustrated. And because since you are a business owner, you are used to working all those hours, making the decisions. You've seen what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I took away laptops from my staff. I didn't want them to work on weekends. And my office manager has asked me for a laptop back, but she made a good argument. She said, when I have a customer and they want to come in after hours, and they said, can we do it over the phone? They can't, because she does not have a laptop at her home be able to bind the policy or help them out.
Yeah.
So I'm giving her laptop back. But we have to stop that inner voice of what has kept us from doing things. And you are not me. And the customer out there is not you. And to put the limitations on that customer, I think in a way it's an insult. You're insulting the customer that wants to make a certain decision, and you're going to talk them out of it because you wouldn't feel comfortable with it. So, your negative voice. And then we see people also with good salespeople, they'll talk people into buying the car that they can't afford. And they'll say, you can afford this and that. And so instead of like in my son's friend, he was going used car shopping. And when he came, he called me from the dealership. And I said, no, ask him what the out-the-door price is. No, they were telling him, how much can you afford, right? And I said, you can't afford that because now you're going to have insurance on top of that. And I said, all they're doing is stretching out the price. And so it has nothing to do with, I said, let's calculate this out. And when we calculated out that $25,000 car was going to end up costing him $54,000. And I mean,
Ooh, geez, really?
With the interest, because now they'll take that loan out 70 months, and the interest rate for a young person, but that salesman is like, so what are you looking at there? And then, you really like this car. We'll make sure you get this car. How much can you afford per month? That's where they start, not with how much is the car going to cost you. Yeah. So he came home all deflated. I said, next time I'll go with you. Yeah. Because it is not. And then people go, well, I'll make it that extra payment. They never do, because people have priorities. They have that extra money. They figure, that they're going to spend it on something. Yeah. So.
Like me going to Las Vegas.
I hope you have a great old time.
I did, actually. So anyway, when we come back, we have more to talk about. Finding the right leader.
And if there's something you're not good at, find someone that is good at it to do it. If you're a great painter, but you're not going to keep the books, hire a bookkeeper.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good point. But anyway, we'll get back to more of that in a little bit. So you're listening to The Small Business Voice with Jess Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360. Stay with us.
CISPRO Innovations, connecting local businesses with local families. Display your services and products with our pay-as-you-go optimized website design program and boost your brand's online presence with our affordable social media marketing tools. To learn more, visit our website at CISPROinnovation.com. That's CISPRO, SISBRO, innovation.com.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna leave.
Welcome back to The Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. Reach out to us for more information about our featured guests by texting 209-896-6500, or you can always email me at info@smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. You can also pull up any of our past shows on the iHeart app. Just search and follow The Small Business Voice. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube. And I have my wonderful guest host. She's a fellow business owner, Jeanette Forney. She owns Jeanette Forney's Allstate Agency. You can contact her at 209-667-2222 or email her at JeanetteForney@allstate.com. Really quick before we get to our next topic, you had somebody that called your office, wanted to listen to the direct sales show we did, correct?
Yes. And see, that's part of the thing, too. This is the second time she's asked me. And so that's the whole thing when it comes to also sales is you want them, they sometimes say, they say that sales is overcoming objections. And recently I found out that the majority of my staff, as we're going back into sales, they weren't really the personality for sales. And so if it comes to, it's hard to train people to overcome objections, especially like you were talking about. They have their own little internal mind going, saying like, this is too expensive. I would never buy this, or, I would just get less coverage. Yeah. And like you're saying, to you, insurance is important because cheap gets expensive.
Yeah, well, exactly.
When you find out that you don't have people that might be great at overcoming objections in sales, I feel you shouldn't have to be to that point in the sale where you have turned into a salesperson, convincing the person to overcome their objections. It's too expensive. I don't know if I want this much coverage. I'm a really good driver, so maybe I can do with less coverage. The car's paid off anyway. So what I feel it's more like, you never come to overcoming the objections if you have laid it out for them that they found a need. And so sales a lot of times is a need and you can fill it. So let's say, for instance, you were at a red light. You just came from Costco. God, I'm doing a lot of advertising for Costco.
Yeah, I know.
I know how expensive that was last week. And I bought things I definitely did not need. But there they have them right there. And you're going like, oh, yeah, I do need one of those that I can put lemons and fresh water in and just dispense all summer. But I brought it to my office. It's part of our coffee bar now. Yeah. But
it's good water, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. The girls are getting creative. We could put strawberries in there. And we could put cucumbers in there. And, our customers really enjoy it.
Yeah, they do.
But the whole point in sales, if you're not good at sales, you don't want to get to the point where you now have to sell someone on something. They have a need already. They've already come into your office. They've already, come into your showroom. And so they have a need.
Yeah.
And now you have to really show them how much they need it. So let's say we're at a red light. I've just come from Costco and I see I have all of this water and it's a hot day. So I grab one of those water bottles and I go get out of my car and I tap on the window next to the car at the red light. And I go, hey, you want to buy a bottle of water? This guy's going to look at me like if I'm crazy. It's like, no, get away from me. And it's like, okay, now we're on the freeway. And a big rig truck ends up tipping over and it's blocked all the lanes on the freeway. And the next exit is like 3 miles down. I'm stuck. But guess what? I remember I have all this Costco water. It's getting hot in the car. This is going to take hours. I don't have that much gas. I'm shutting off my engine. So, of course, there's no air conditioning. And now I go in the back and let's say I have a SUV or a crossover. I open that up and there's all this water. And I grab a water for myself. Well, guess what? Now the car next to me rolls down the window and goes, hey, you have all this water. I know you're going to have to go and replace it. Can I buy a bottle of water for you? I'll give you $1, right?
Yeah.
And of course, I'm a nice person. So, yeah, I give them a bottle of water. The car behind me now, the wife is poking the husband going, we got the kids in the car. Offer her $2 a bottle for that water, And so now the husband's going on, my wife, my kids, can I buy for like 5 bottles of water? I'll give you $10. All right.
Uh-huh.
Now they have a need. And I didn't have to sell that bottle of water to anybody. So the whole point of sales is before there's a price, they didn't care about the price. One even offered me more is once the person realizes they have a need for your services or they want what you are selling, the price does not become the biggest thing. Mm-hmm. And so I think in sales, for one thing, you have to be really proud and confident of if you think your product is too expensive, there's no way that you're going to convince me that it's really a good price. And I do believe that the Allstate product is superior. We're not brokering the deal where you're going to pay, money in between for us to just set up the deal for you. We are going to explain to you the coverages and talk to you where you pick your own kind of like coverage that you need.
Yeah.
And when you see that, well, this is what I need, and the law says you have to have it, then at that time, the price should just be how much are these things going to cost for me to get? Because now we've already overcome all of the objections. That way your sales staff, they don't have to sell anything. You've already told them that you need something, we have what you need, and this is what it's going to cost. Just the same way as those young people that will buy the iPhone and spend a lot of money every single month is they want it, they don't need it. But once they see that their need is what they want this, then it's going to be how much is it going to cost? And they'll find a way to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. So you're listening to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. We're just talking about right now values and needs. Right now, the price of everything has gone up. Inflation's gone up.
Yeah, we are all, it's like we're all struggling. And then again, it's like we are making choices every single day of what we need. And in those days when I didn't have money or when we were struggling with my husband's business at that time, it was, if it doesn't sustain life, we're not buying it. And my kids grew up with that.
Yeah. So with me, talking about needs and wants, when I was driving to Vegas, because I do like driving to Vegas, by the way, but
I can't believe you drive so much for a living, and then I enjoy driving to Vegas. That's a boring road. That's just desert.
So I left at 11 o'clock at night on Friday to avoid traffic. I got into the desert, and when you get into the desert and there's not a lot of places around, things tend to be more expensive. So I bought I think it was 2 20-ounce Pepsi Zeros, and they had 2 for $5. So it wasn't a need, but it was something I wanted to drink because I get bored and you're just driving but I chose to buy that even though it wasn't something I needed, I had a point to the story, and I just completely forgot what my point was.
That when you want something, it doesn't matter what the price is because you're already in there.
Oh,
you pulled over, and now there's something that you really wanted. You were craving it, and you didn't want to have to go to that secondary place where you might actually get a better price because right there, no one had to sell you on that. You wanted it; it was there. Convenience, whatever.
But then you have that regret after you buy it, though, too. Especially when it's over, like when you're done with it. After you inhale it, because
buyer's remorse.
Remorse, yeah.
Yes, well, I'm hoping my customers don't have buyer's remorse.
No. So I'm very happy. So I've been with you now since you could write policies the first time around. So it must have been pre-pandemic.
And that's the whole thing. We do the policy reviews, and if you have a question. You're not talking to an 800 number. Yeah. You're talking to someone at the office. They know who you are. We can talk about it. I mean, we're adults, right? This is your product. We're providing the service. And if you say, I just got to take this coverage off, then we're going to have you make an intelligent decision for yourself. I'm not just going to be an order taker. Like if you call an 800 number, okay, we'll take it off. I'm going to tell you, well, if you take this off, these are some of the consequences. But if you're willing to accept that risk, yes. And then I'm going to put definite notes in there that you no longer want to have that rental car. And then when your car gets stolen, you say, how am I going to get down to a studio today? I can read back to you that you chose to have it removed from your policy.
So I don't know if you can answer this in two minutes. But,
of course I can.
So how do you get it to where your customers want to buy from you? And so
the quality. Anyone can get insurance anywhere. They can get an app. They can call an 800 number. But why do they want to come to us?
And the reason why I asked that is because I was with my previous insurance company since, probably 2000. But I wanted to switch to you. Like it was something that you projected on me
I want us to be the concierge of insurance. If you just want to go and get something cheap, no coverage, I don't think we are actually competitive in that market. I'm here to protect those things that you worked so hard for, and you want to get the protection. And we're very much about an educated customer. It's going to make the right choice. You ask people out there what kind of coverage they have. I don't know. I just went for the cheapest thing, and they don't find out until their car gets stolen.
Yeah.
So I think that we provide that education, the knowledge. They know what they are getting, and that's why they want to buy from us. And they know that we are available. That when they do have a question, or that we don't have late charges. So you call up and say, you're about to pull this money out. Can I wait until next week? We can suspend the payment. You have options where we can provide service and an excellent product, not just insurance.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I like that. Let's do our community corner. This is the Small Business Voice on Power Talk 1360 KFIV and the iHeartRadio app. Stay with us.
Hey y'all, what's going on? Been waiting on this all day long.
This business tip is brought to you by CISPRO Innovation. I'm Catherine Ramos, and today we're focusing on employee satisfaction. Happy employees translates to happy customers. Ensuring your team is satisfied with their job or well compensated and feels value will improve their productivity and customer service. Employee turnover can be costly, hence investing in employee satisfaction is beneficial in the long run. CISPRO Innovation, where we help local businesses connect with local families. For more information on this tip, check out our blog at CISPROinnovation.com. That's CISPRO, SISBRO, innovation.com.
Welcome back to the Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. Reach out to us for more information about our featured guests by texting 209-896-6500, or you can always email us at info@smallbusinessvoicemedia.com. You can put up any of our past shows on the iHeart app. Just search and follow the Small Business Voice. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube. And I have my wonderful guest host, Jeanette Forney. She's a small business owner. She can be contacted at 209-667-2222 or email her at JeanetteForney@allstate.com. So our Community Corner is proudly sponsored by Lightspeed Graphics, a creative media agency specializing in video and animation. To get in touch with the owner, Kurt Gonzalez, simply text him at 209-617-2606 or visit the website lightspeedgraphics.com. Really quick, so I'm looking at Gold Star referral clubs, and when I first joined Gold Star, I had to do a 60-second presentation. I told the story actually at our big event, where I just said I could only talk for about 10 seconds, and
now look at you.
Yeah, exactly. Like half those words were I was so nervous I sat down, and I'm thinking I'm never doing that again. And then 6 years later, now I'm emceeing events. I'm used to it now. So I guess another question for Stephanie would be, can you change?
Of course you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is like you just acknowledged something that you saw that you were saying a lot.
Yeah.
So it is very good sometimes to have someone film you or you listen to what you are saying, because you will see all those things, especially, let's say, people that are actors or actresses. They would film these things, and then you'd find these nervous habits you had, that when they're up on stage, they're swaying back and forth, they're flipping their hair. I was on Hollywood Squares, and I see myself on Hollywood Squares so many years ago on that Dick Clark music special, and then all of a sudden, I'm flipping my hair like every 5 seconds, and I'm going like, oh my God, I'm doing that. So the thing is, you do know practice makes perfect, and sometimes like this personality test, like your personality, you find where, I wouldn't call them weaknesses, but areas where you might not be as strong that you might want to work on.
Yeah.
And then if you find yourself way over the top in one area, you might need to turn down the volume just a little bit on that. But I do believe that all personality types are great, but you have to acknowledge those personality types. Not everyone, it's kind of like we've said, the doctor comes in there and talks to the mother and the child and everything that's going on. Then they send in the nurse that does the double whammy with the 2 shots in the legs. And so as a business owner, you have your place. And somebody once told me at Allstate, they said, no one is going to be as good at running your business and as good as sales and have as much passion as you do in any of the staff members. So we can't expect the people that are working for us to have that same passion. And that's kind of like hard. But when I was going to become an agency owner, it didn't matter how much money I had. It didn't matter how much education I had. It was all came down to the interview. And yes, Allstate gave a personality test. And I know someone that, she's no longer an agent. And the sad thing was she couldn't pass the securities license test in 2 years. It's a tough test.
Oh, wow.
But she had the money. She had worked in management for another insurance company for years. She was going to cash out her 401k to get her own agency. And then the personality test came back and did not have what they were looking at in leadership and management. And they said, here's a stack of books. Go read these on leadership, read them on management, and come back in 6 months and let's take a look at what you've learned. Because Allstate, they're a multi-billion-dollar brand. They don't want to open up agencies. It's not like a franchise. Open up agencies that are going to fail. They need to know that they have leaders. So I think that's very important, and that's why personality tests, large corporations are going to make sure they have the right people so they don't have to micromanage us, that once they give us an agency, they know that we are going to run it.
So you're listening to Small Business Voice with Justin Duncan and Jeanette Forney on Power Talk 1360 KFIV. We talked about finding the right leader, hiring the right team. We talked about price and value and needs. And now we're talking about
people
Gold
do more
Star.
research on the next phone they want to buy than they do on the type of employee that would be the perfect fit.
But see, I like that. Now, and this is a good thing, is I can give Stephanie business and she's giving us business. But it's something that I could see really helping myself, because I know I'm not perfect. I mean, it might surprise you, but I
have a picture of you in my wall. In my office.
Wow.
Yeah, I look up to her and go, I wish I could be more like Justin.
Man, my head just swelled up. So anyway, I know I have things to work on in all seriousness, but I never really knew where to start. And, like you said, like these gurus cost thousands of dollars. And it's like, well, I can't afford a guru, or maybe I don't want to afford a guru,
Well, that's why this show is also good. I think that if you're a business owner out there, or every single week you get something that should help you in your life.
Yeah.
And you need to grow. There's only so much money you can make, but the better you make yourself, the more improvement you make on yourself, the more able you're going to be able to be.
Yeah. I get a lot of value from you, so you got a lot of experience in owning business over the years. And, I get value from that. Like I get value from the show, and it's just an idea that I had I like to say an army of people that really helped me get the show off the ground, and, you're one of them, Mary Matthews is one, Gennaro Frida.
Exactly. You have to find your experts, because you can't do it all. And that's the problem with business people out there. They think they can do it all, and they don't respect the people that can take some of that off their plate. And it's a big mistake people do, because if someone can't do it as well as you can, you feel like you have to step in and do it for them. Well, you know what? You're going to get burnt out real quick. And then you're going to lose staff, and you're going to find yourself sitting alone in an office, and you are going to say, why can't I hire the right people? Well, maybe you need to look in the mirror. You might not be the right
and
employer.
People don't like to do that. People don't like to look in the mirror. I've been really impressed with Stephanie, and especially today, last week. It just really opened my eyes. And then as we got more into it, I'm thinking, wow, I can use it for this, and just not just business, but just for relationships. And
the thing is, you need to know what you're working with when you're gonna. It's hard to make a plan or go someplace where you need to be if you don't have a map, and you need to know where you're going in a game plan. So I think it's very important. I think that Stephanie, especially. I sought her out. Well, first, the opportunity came. She's one of my customers. And she called me and she says, I need a certificate of insurance because I'm having this event. So I go, oh, really? What event? She didn't have to sell me on when she told me what it was. I said, that sounds interesting. And I always want to grow in knowledge. And I'll tell you, I had kind of heard the name John Maxwell because I think I've had people in the past that have wanted to sell me on some kind of program, but I knew nothing about it. But Stephanie was a friend of mine, and she was putting on an event. And when you're successful, you like to see other people be successful. I think it's a good energy. Positive energy raises the energy. So I'm so glad that came my way.
Well, our way.
Our way, yes.
Yeah, because
I invited you.
Yeah, you invited me, and we got to go together.
And
Kurt was there too. Yeah. So it was a good evening. So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in each week. We look forward to having you back next week.
Yeah, and if you learned something.
Yeah, let us know. Call Jeanette's office. So heartfelt shout out.
Make sure when you call the number, you say, ask for agent. Because then it will get straight into my office.
That's right. So a heartfelt shout out to our dedicated producer, Mike Murray, and the general manager of KCBP, Jim Costello. Actually, Gennaro Frida, second week in a row, filling in for him. So special thanks to Jay, one of the ones that has made me successful. Also, big thanks to him. We've known each other since 2018. I want to thank Max Boucher for his hard work and being as our intern, and look forward to having him learning more things. Kurt Gonzalez, the special thanks to him from Lightspeed Graphic Video and Animation for capturing our inspiring guests and their stories. If you're seeking an assistant with digital marketing, don't hesitate to reach out to Kurt at 209-716-2606 or via email at kurt@lightspeedgraphics.com. Thank you, Jeanette, for joining me today and your support on the Small Business Voice. I really appreciate it. Remember to join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. as we dive into the minds of local business owners with even more insightful discussions. And a special thanks to, I want to say, Jeanette for all the work she's done. So thank you, Jeanette.
Now my head is just getting. I'm not going to fit through the door. I know you want to be like me when you grow up, don't you?
I do. Yes.
Okay. Good.
Okay. All right. Well, I think it's time to take care of business.